Okay, so for those of you who find like stuff like Olive Garden or anything like that to be absolutely delicious, is really not that hard. I mean, I can. Cooks find it as uh, the McDonald's of cooking, and so to be realistic, like McDonald's is not that great of a cooking experience, but they shell out a shitload of food, and that's what Olive Garden does. So I'm gonna show you how you can prepare a meal that is just as good as that, and I'm gonna show you that using a hotel cooking service. Behind me, I have 10 shrimp, which is more than Olive Garden gives you. 10 shrimp, not by much, only one. It's a saute pan, standard saute pan with olive oil. See that bottle right there? That is olive oil. Not extra virgin olive oil, none of that crap. Olive oil, the good hearty stuff. Alright, I got 10 shrimp here. Alright. As I'm going through this, I'll break down what I'm doing. But you're going to see me do things from a lot of Ziploc bags. Because when you're living in a hotel, you don't get to do a whole lot of fancy stuff. I mean, you save your ingredients in Ziploc bags. So, also the noodles, I cooked them last night. The pasta is cooked. You add a tiny bit of water, spark it up in the microwave. You can use it the next night. You don't need to throw away pasta. It is savable. When you do cook pasta, the number one thing that you do is you coat it with olive oil. Alright? What this does is it keeps it from sticking to itself. I know that oils and fats and stuff like that have become some kind of weird, mind-blowing thing, but this is how you actually save pasta. This is how everybody saves pasta. All right, if you want it to work for more than one dish. But the thing is that if you're going to cook pasta, don't sit there and dump every ingredient into it. You're like, look, cook it, coat it in olive oil, set it to the side, and use it for small portions. You'll find out. I love cooking. I really do. But this is fun. And now you've been hearing me this entire time. You've been hearing this sizzle. Just about ready to flip. Shrimp needs time and love. But this is good. All right. Now, so I can show you. It has like a brown crispiness to it. Here, let me turn on another light. So that is it's brown and crispy. It's not burnt. All right, but it has crispiness to it. And I'm going to turn on the heat just a little bit because I had that at a little bit higher than, not at high, but just, I definitely didn't have that at medium. So, Alright, so what I have here, bell peppers. And I have a tablespoon. Go ahead and take one. And 2 tablespoons of diced bell peppers, about a 1/4 inch dice. You know, not necessary to go that far. I love Ziplocs for this reason. Alright, as far as right here, this is diced Roma tomatoes. They're not concassate, so we did not. I did not remove the skin from them. I'm gonna do 1 and 2, and that's up there. 2 tablespoons of diced tomatoes, Roma tomatoes. What I have here is zucchini. Zucchini is delicious, especially when it happens to meet oil in a saute pan. You got 1, and 2. I mean, really complicated measurements here. Really complicated measurements. The thing is that I'm literally doing nothing here. Alright. So when you're using a saute pan that has this kind of action, plastic tools. So what if you eventually melt some of the plastic tools? Tongs are exactly what Olive Garden uses if you want to know about them. But the thing is to be able to stir up your pan without scratching off the Teflon that's on there. Because this is a really good saute pan. It doesn't look all that fancy. I bought it at a kitchen supply house for $35. I bought a couple of them. The same quality that I use in a restaurant. The same quality that restaurants use because it's a restaurant supply house. And they work really well. The fantastic part is that they are definitely non-stick. Look at that. It just moves around. Alright. Now, of course, the key here, especially when you're cooking protein, oil. Alright, so those first ingredients that I put in, it seems kind of ridiculous to put in those ingredients and then put in aromatics afterwards. But zucchini, tomato, bell pepper, they have really thick skin, really thick cell walls as far as a plant goes. And they don't break down that easily. The best part about it is that you break them down a little bit better when you give them a longer exposure to heat. But if I do things like add scallions to this pan, scallions break down really, really easily. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to break down my aromatics so quickly. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 heaping tablespoon of scallions. And maybe 1.5. Let's have some fun. Alright. And then, okay, you can actually spend forever and a year mincing garlic. I don't care if that's what you really want to do. If you want to use fresh garlic, this is available at your local grocery store, and as you can see, I've used it quite a bit. Mincing garlic is a tedious thing to do. Why, when I can just buy this and it's right here. I'm gonna use half a tablespoon for that. And I'm not gonna get crazy on that one. Alright. A little salt. Little pepper. Now I'm going to give this a toss. Okay, for this example, by the way, I like my shrimp a little bit softer, but I may have, just for this, cooked it a little bit more, but it's okay. The shrimp is okay. Alright, so now I'm going to turn all those aromatics into a sauce by just adding a little bit of cream. This heavy whipping cream, nothing fantastic. It is going to cool down the pan, which is fine. And it is going to provide quite a bit of moisture to your plate. Now, of course, I like heat, and by the way, if you think that this is heat, you're stupid. I like heat that's like ridiculously hot. I have stuff that's like in the multi-millions of Scoville units. Just some red pepper flakes. Just a few. That might actually be hotter than what some of you like, and it's okay. I'm not judging. Of course, that cream becomes really thick when you do this. So that's why you have a whole thing of cream here. So you can add just a little bit more. Now first, you want to add just enough to absorb the flavor of the sauces. Afterwards, you want to make sure that you have enough to make it to where there's this sauciness in the pan. You see that? Alright, now what I'm going to do, the pasta. Oh yeah. I hate it. So, like I said, I cooked the pasta last night. I coated it in olive oil, but I heated it up enough to where it's warm when I put it in this. Because what I need is a warm pasta to go into a warm dish. And this is actually how you plate a dish like this. Grab some pasta. That's about, I don't know if I remember anything from those days. It's about 6 or 7 ounces pasta that you do this. Alright. Swirl it around the pan. Toss it. Keep all the food on one side. But you want to grab all that sauce and all that flavor from the pan. You want to do that. Get it nice and good. And keep everything separated like that, because that's how you plate it. I'm gonna use one of these standard plastic bowl, but because I'm not making this to eat right now, I'm making this for lunch tomorrow. I mean, if you want to look like you come from a restaurant, why not? Pretty sure if you're Grubhubbing or something like that, this is kind of what your food comes in. These weird plastic bowls. Take the pasta, drop it in. Spread it out. And then you take everything else from the pan and drop it on top. All that wonderful, all those vegetables, all the sauce, all the spice, everything else is right on top. Now, you do advantage yourself if you have a rubber spatula. So that means you can really get everything from the pan. Not only makes the pan easier to clean, but you get all that saucy goodness right there. Now, if you really want to make this look fancy, what you can do is you can take those tongs and just turn the shrimp around. Make sure not to grab the pasta or anything like that. Make it look like, oh yeah, oh, fancy. Alright, I'm going to slap a lid on this because, like I said, this is my lunch tomorrow when I go to work. But, yes, I do have lids. Actually, this is not a disposable tray or anything like that. I bought this at the store like this, and it came with equal size lids, and it kind of looks like disposable. But these are reusable. They're microwave safe and everything. Irrelevant. Hey, look at this. There you go. A wonderful shrimp scampi for lunch tomorrow. And I'm not sure, that didn't really take me that much time. It actually took me more time to explain it to you than it did for me to actually make it. Well, thank you for giving me the time. This is going in the fridge, and I am going to go to bed because, again, I have to work tomorrow. Have fun.